Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Off Air Podcast with Slater and Marjo.
Episode 7, lucky number 7.
Subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. We appreciate it. Help the channel grow. Our special guest today is Bryan House, and he played professional baseball.
Yes, amongst many other things in life. And we talked a lot about professional sports and competition and the definition of success and life after that. And it's a good combo.
He grew up in Chicago, currently resides in Western Massachusetts, right here. We talked about the definition of success. We talked about his music. We talked about the difference between playing baseball in the 80s and today. He's involved in a lot with youth empowerment. We're talking about that. I wipe my nose a lot in this episode. And we talked about mind, body, and spirit and why this guy is so calm. I love it.
Today's episode is brought to you by Tommy's Compost Service. It's a food scrap pickup service. Think curbside recycling, but for your food waste. Eat it, put it in the compost bucket, and bring it to the curb, and Tommy's Compost will come and pick it up for you. Tommy'sCompost.com to learn more.
Bryan House.
Hello.
What's up,
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're born in Chicago.
But south of Chicago, Lockport, Illinois.
Yeah.
Lockport, Illinois.
My
Lockport Porters.
favorite movie is The Blues Brothers.
Okay.
And that was in Joliet.
It's right down the road. I mean, that whole scene with Joliet Jake coming out of the gates, that's a couple miles from where I live.
Oh,
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was that like a big hometown? That's what, like Slater said, one of his favorites. Was that something the people embraced where you were from, or were they kind of like, no, this is...
Generally, yeah. It was. It was. Joliet Jake, come on.
Yeah. Joliet Jake and Elwood Blues.
Yes.
Yeah, the Blues Brothers.
We did.
1980 that came out. So when were you, how old were you in 80?
80? Oh, gosh. I think I was a junior in high school. Yeah, I graduated in 81, so I'd have been a junior. Junior in high school.
That, you tell me you're a music fan. That movie had it all. So the Blues Brothers had it all. It had dialogue, it had music, and car chases.
Yeah.
Everything.
Who's the band? The Meters, right?
They were. So it was Donald Duck Dunn.
Yeah.
Matt Guitar Murphy.
Were they the Meters?
No.
Anyway, good music.
Yeah, great music. Cab Calloway's in it.
Yeah.
What's his name? Guy who sings Living in America.
I've never
James
even
Brown.
seen.
James Brown.
I've never even seen the Blues
plays,
Brothers.
He plays
haven't
I mean,
seen
it's
it?
all
No.
about soul music, and it's just a phenomenal film featuring Dan Aykroyd and of course, the late John Belushi.
I'm a terrible movie buff. I just watched Jaws for the first time last weekend because it's the
goodness.
50th anniversary. So I'm usually not the one to ask. But anyway,
Yeah. How do we start rapport with a guy from Chicago? All right, I'll bring up the Blues Brothers.
That's an easy one. You got that. Yeah.
So you grew up in Illinois and then went to University of Illinois for a little bit, right?
I went to Illinois State.
Illinois State. Ooh.
Yeah, Illinois State.
Important distinction.
In Normal, Illinois. U of I is in Champaign, a little different. You know. They'd say we're a little, like a step below them, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I see on your finger you have a Chicago Cubs ring.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that. So
what's happening there?
So that was A ball, we'd say, Class A with the Cubs. We won a championship. That was 1986.
All right,
1986.
So spoiler alert,
Yes.
you played professional baseball.
I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did for about 7 years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It was very cool, Yeah.
And hard to achieve, too. So explain us,
Yes.
I imagine you grew up playing baseball, right? Did you always have dreams of the big leagues? Was that a reality? Was it a pipe dream? Like,
It was a little bit of both. I mean, being younger and being a kid, we used to get, so the Cubs would come on Channel 9 in Chicago, and they played all day games. So we would run home from school and catch like the last couple innings at like 3:00 because all the games started at 1:00, home games. So, I mean, we grew up with the Cubs. We were a Cubs fan, not a Sox fan.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, and Don Kessinger, Glenn Beckert, all those guys, they were us, and we would, in the yard, think we were those guys. Billy Williams, we were making fantastic catches, thinking we were Billy Williams, you know? And it was great. He ended up being a coach for the Cubs, a minor league coach. I got to meet him, hang out with him, and
Wow,
yeah,
talk about
Billy
full
Williams.
circle.
Yeah.
Did you tell him, hey, I grew up pretending to be you?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. He appreciated it.
Yeah.
So the Wrigley home game started at 1?
Yeah, they had no lights. They didn't have lights. All the games were day games.
What year was this?
Up until I want to say 80 something, maybe
I did
late
not
80s.
know
Was that
Yeah.
was that common in professional baseball that stadiums didn't have lights?
No.
Oh,
This
no,
was
yeah,
specific
no,
to
yeah.
Wrigley.
Yes, but Wrigley was the only field and the last field, of course, to have no lights for a long time.
Right.
And they just forbid it, kind of. They just didn't want to get rid of the character of Wrigley Field,
I totally
which was
understand
all day
that.
games.
Yeah.
But to players, that's hell, man, playing all day games at home.
Yes.
Like,
And then when you're
1
traveling, you're
o'clock?
playing all night games,
yes,
right?
yes. So anyway,
That's
yeah.
got to be a fascinating childhood memory.
They did not
Yeah.
have a night game until July of 1988 at Wrigley Field.
1988. See, late 80s. Yeah, late 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So Fenway is actually America's oldest ballpark, but Wrigley's second.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
I'm pretty sure.
Probably. I think Camden
you're
Yards
right.
is up there too, right? Or maybe I'm making that up. But I'll find out.
I think
Well, they have a new stadium. I mean, that's a
Baltimore.
yeah.
So were you above average talent from youth in baseball?
I would say I was.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, be like, I was
I'd
always
say I
kind of the
was.
best player on the team. And
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, it started coming out like in my senior year in high school, basketball was my thing. I thought I was going to be in the NBA, first of all. That
so
was-
many professional athletes say
Yeah.
this, where they ended up playing pro in the sport that they didn't think they were
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I got to high school and started seeing, kids coming out of 8th grade who are 6 feet, 6'1", and I'm still my 5'6" little self. But baseball took over and started seeing scouts coming to the game and found out like, hey, they're watching you, It's like, okay, I must be pretty decent.
So you were in the Cubs organization in the 80s.
Yes, from I got drafted in 84 and was traded in 89 to the Texas Rangers organization. Played 1 more year with them.
What was that like, getting that call for a draft? I mean, I imagine it's not the same as the draft is now, but
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I knew something was going to happen. In talking with like scouts who would come to watch, so I knew I would go somewhere. I thought maybe I was going to go to the Cincinnati Reds. I went to Cincinnati and kind of went to the stadium and hung out with some of their administrative folks and talked about what it was like to be in the organization. And I thought I'd go pretty high with Cincinnati. Ended up like going to Chicago and to the Cubs, which I had no idea was even possible. And
Right.
that
Especially
just
being
flipped my whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we used to go to Wrigley Field as a kid. Like, that was our summer trip.
Yep.
Filling up the Chrysler station wagon and with, I mean, like 20 kids in the station wagon going to Wrigley Field,
This was, to clarify, this is AAA, but it's still pro.
AAA, yes. Played a year in AAA in Iowa. They were in Des Moines at that point. I think they
Did
still
you
are.
ever play in a big league game? Like get an at bat?
I can't say an official big league game. I played in a spring training game,
Gotcha.
a couple games with the Rangers,
Yeah.
big league games.
I'll take it. That's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
it's 1 for 1.
Yeah.
That's probably 1% of the population who's gotten to do that. So yeah.
How was that mentally not getting called up? Was it like shit? Like I got so far. Like AAA is. That's it. There's one. That's the next
Right,
step is
right.
the major league.
It is. That's a great question. I think when I was in it, there was a time where I felt like, wait a minute, I should be in the big leagues, to be honest with you. And I mean, I had a lot of players that I played with. They were like, man, what are you doing down here? It's in AAA. Like, what are you doing here? These are like big leaguers. So what are you doing down here? Kind of thing. I don't know. I'm trying to make it, and so my year with the Rangers, I played second base, and I played second base most of my
I knew you were
career with the
second.
Cubs.
I was just gonna say, can I guess your position?
And-
I was gonna say second base.
Yeah, I had a decent year, and I thought maybe I might get the call because they traded for me. And Juan Samuel was a second baseman. I don't know if that rings any bells, but he was a pretty dynamite player. And so not getting the call that year, it really made me like evaluate my life to some degree. And some things were converging at that point, real personal things in my life. I was married and that was starting to go elsewhere. South is right.
Say no more. Say no more. We get it.
And so we had a son about a year and a half, and I'm thinking, wow, what's going on with life for me? So things are changing, because now my contract has run out with the Rangers, and so I have to find a job, if you will. I have to find a baseball job, and so that meant working with an agent, trying to find a team that was going to sign me and give me a shot at big league camp, which I was like, I got to go to big league camp with somebody. Somebody's got to invite me to camp. I hit 320 in AA and had a good year in AAA at 280 in AAA with the Rangers. Somebody's got to give me a shot, know? And I had offers to go to minor league camp with a few organizations. So that reevaluating, like who am I? What am I doing?
And that's
where do I live?
How old are you in 90?
90. So I would have been 28.
Yeah.
I want to say 28, 29, 28.
So you're getting to that age in life where you're starting to think long term anyway. And, yeah.
And if I'll say too, like with professional sports, I think, and I don't know if I really had this at that time. And I'll be honest with myself and say, you have to have this kind of like not taking no for an answer, if that makes sense. Like, I'm getting there. Like, I don't care what you tell me. Marjo's going to tell me yes, and I'm going to make her tell me yes. And I don't know if I had that at that time as I was evaluating life. Like, I wasn't going to jump through I know for a fact I wasn't going to jump through any hoop that was put before me to get to the big leagues. And I mean, you can fault me for that, but I know it wasn't in me. I just know it wasn't in me.
Yeah. A little
and I can live with that.
Yeah.
And I could live with that because I was almost of a mind that I should be there. And you can't, and that's something you probably shouldn't, you should get rid of that because no one owes you anything.
This is true.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Did you feel less talented guys were getting shots ahead of you?
Yeah, I did feel that. And I don't blame them. A lot of it's like being in the right place at the right time.
Totally.
I came up behind Ryan Sandberg, maybe the greatest second baseman ever play besides Honus Wagner or something, So, I mean, it's being in the right place at the right time is a lot of it, and having that kind of drive and determination that you're just not going to be denied.
Do you remember a specific moment or a specific kind of turning point where you're like, okay, I need to close the door on the reality of whether or not I'm going to play baseball for a living and then pivot into what you want to do?
I do. So when I didn't sign with the Rangers, when my contract ran out with the Rangers after that year, 90, and I made a decision, like, I think I have to look at where my life is and find what the next chapter is. So I got a number of calls from people in baseball, like, hey, I heard you weren't playing. I got an opportunity here. So I had an opportunity to go to Italy and play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it sounded really cool. It was, And the decision not to do that, it meant a couple things for my life. It meant that I would have to be out of the States for at least about a year, and
and you had a young child and a marriage that was
and I just didn't feel it was right to leave to do that at that time, and so I thought that wasn't something I could do, and so that kind of solidified it for me, I think, right at that point when I decided not to do that.
They say that hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do. Do you agree with that?
No, I thought it was pretty easy.
I love that answer.
Did you think it was easy?
I love it. Well, it came a little bit easier to you than it did to other people,
Sometimes easier. No, depends on who's pitching. No, I mean,
yeah, you got Slater throwing softballs over the plate,
No, I could see that. I could see that being a difficult thing or being seen as a difficult thing. now with what pitchers can do with a baseball, I mean, yeah.
So tell me how it's changed since, because like me, could you hang with players today? Like your skill set in the 80s, could you hang with players in 25?
I bet I could. I could always turn on a fastball. So I mean, like, they're throwing it 100. I could catch up to that. That wouldn't be a problem. I think when you see these, like a pitcher who can throw 100 or get it up there, but also change speed to throw like a 89 mile an hour slider that's just getting it on your hands, like that's impossible. To some extent. So I don't know. I bet I can play. I had speed. I had decent power. I could play different positions, so I think that translates,
Yeah.
Are you still are you a fan of Major League Baseball? Do you keep up with the league and stuff?
Not so much.
Yeah.
A little more than I did in the past. I'll follow players who kind of catch my eye, I like the shortstops, those big, the Dela Cruz with Cincinnati, and who's the Pittsburgh. But they're like these tall infielders who have all the skills. That's kind of cool to watch.
You were around in the steroid era.
Yes.
Like with Canseco and
Did that
McGuire.
era end? Isn't it still happening? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
played with some.
Players, you look at Bonds, pre-steroids. I mean, they're two different guys.
He was about my size.
Yeah. I mean, you're...
And he became a giant.
5'10"?
5'10"? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Was
funny.
it something that just people didn't talk? I mean, did people were doing it? Like, what was an insider's kind of viewpoint on?
Well, I'll tell you,
steroids.
Probably the early mid '80s. I think guys like me who were coming up in the A-ball, AA, you didn't really see it. I think it was. My sense was the players who were like at that major league level and who had time and are realizing like there's a lot with being on a major league roster. So what does it take to be on a roster? And you saw a lot of even after I was done, you saw a lot of players who were, not the superstars per se, but would utilize, I think, that the steroids to get on a roster or to be that utility player, that extra player who could get a few more years out of it. There's a whole lot of those players that we don't know their names now, but like they were probably the most prevalent folks. And you hear the big names. I mean, I didn't really see it. I didn't see it. It kind of blew up after I was done. I do remember Sammy Sosa, that minor league game, that major league game I played. We played the White Sox, and they were like, "Oh, this dude is pretty good. He's playing right field, Sosa." And again, he's
much
about as
smaller.
big as me.
Yeah. Much smaller.
So anyway,
how hard are the guys throwing in AAA?
How hard are they throwing?
In 1987?
Yeah, I mean
90?
Yeah, 90s.
92?
People getting it in the mid 90s. That was heat. That was bringing it as much as we would ever see back then.
Like Aroldis Chapman can throw I think he's got the fastest pitch ever, a 104.8 or something like that. Yeah,
it's insane.
He's a Red Sox now, and he's still throwing like 102.
Yeah.
What did you take away from being a professional athlete that like you still use in your life today?
I think I take away like what it needs to be successful in a situation, like how to make adjustments to find success. I think so. What that means? What does that mean? I saw a lot of guys who, and myself, like when you get to a certain level, everyone can run. Everybody can run. Everybody can throw. Everybody's got power. Everybody can hit to an extent. So what sets you apart from other people? So I think it's finding what that is, but also being able to like adjust what you need to adjust in a situation. Like how to, 2 strikes, for example, you have to have a different approach to the game with 2 strikes or hitting. You have to give up some things, if you will. So what do I take in life? I mean, I I think just knowing that you can make the adjustments and that you can adjust any time, and that you gotta like not take no for an answer sometimes, and just be determined to get what you want, I think.
Were you like far better of a player than all your buddies? I mean, you must, because like we say this all the time in the house. Like the kids play Little League and they're like, Dad, do you think I'm going to make it to the pro? I'm like, pros? I'm like, probably not.
Yeah.
Because just not trying to be
No,
a jerk,
of course.
but probably not.
Yeah.
You want to encourage your kids to, be the absolute best they can be, but they also need to be grounded in reality as well, right?
I mean, you must have been a standout, yes?
Well, I'll say this, not so much really. I mean, I would say back in those days, there wasn't a lot we did. We played basketball, baseball, and football. Everyone did it, and I would say I wasn't so much of a standout. Maybe it was because of the level of focus we had on like sports and school sports and that sort of thing. So school sports were huge, even in grade school. In sixth grade, we would play different schools, and you knew everyone then. So, I mean, even in Little League, I probably wasn't really the best player until I was maybe 12 in our all-star team. But there were a lot of good players in the Joliet area and Lockport area where I grew up. And so I didn't really stand out that much. It's funny. We would do the what's the pitch hit and something contest, right?
Yeah.
I'd always get like second place. And there'd always be a kid who like beat me, and
Well, you had the last laugh in the end because that kid probably didn't play professional baseball. You have 4 boys.
Yes.
12 to 36. Any of them follow in your footsteps? Any of them?
They're all good athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, especially my older boy and the youngest.
Did you want that for them? Or were you like trying to?
How important was that to
Or
you?
were you trying to keep, did you send them down the baseball path or?
Not so much. No, I kind of wanted them to see have a wider sort of influence of life than just sports.
Yeah.
I mean, like my oldest son played hockey, and I thought that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Just watching him play hockey. That's something I never did. I loved hockey.
Yeah.
But never played it. So I didn't really push him. My youngest son loves basketball, and he's pretty decent. He's really good. He's fun to watch. He's like my favorite player. And so following him, coaching him is a big deal for me. So I think I push him a little bit in basketball. So I have to kind of check myself there.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Youth sports is funny because there is that fine line, right? We all see those parents that take it a little bit too far, but you also do need to push your kids to try to,
Yeah, so finding that balance for me, in pushing and being dad, being the coach, being a parent, there's some boundaries there that are really cool to observe.
Does he push back and say, Dad, you're pushing too hard?
He does. He does a little bit. He does sometimes. He does. I was coaching one of his teams, and we kind of had a discussion, and from that discussion, I didn't head coach his next team, so I kind of stepped back a little bit.
Gotcha.
And I think that was good for both of us, just having a different influence or having a different coach in his ear, that wasn't dad,
Sports are such a important part of growing up, I think. For
I agree.
Everything, competition, camaraderie,
Commitment,
health,
being coachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all aspects of life, and that anything to keep them away from screens.
Yeah.
What do you think about like everybody gets a trophy culture?
Ooh.
Because we know how we feel.
Yeah. I understand it. I believe I understand it. I don't totally agree with it. I think that's kind of maybe a characteristic of sports and competition is that, that you don't something rises to the top of that.
Right. Somebody wins.
And it's acknowledged, right? Yeah.
And you have to fail. You have to lose in life. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where it comes from, the psychology of like sort of like every, accepting and stuff. And
Well,
but
I
not
also-
everyone deserves a trophy. They just don't,
Right. I mean, I think everybody should be encouraged and everybody should be acknowledged for their efforts. But
Yeah.
sometimes in life, like you're a perfect example of that. You got up to the highest point, and sometimes you just don't get over that very
Yeah.
last hurdle.
Yep.
And that's
I don't know-
okay.
Right. Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Not getting a trophy.
right.
And
Totally.
we could be happy for the one who does, or those
Right.
that
Yes.
do.
Learning how to be a
Yeah.
good loser is huge, So how did you end up in the Berkshires from Texas? I think that was the last point we left. And also follow up. The Berkshires has such baseball has such a deep history in the
Yeah.
Berkshires. Did that have anything to do with it? Did you learn that when you got here?
I did. I learned it when I got here. Through the Cubs organization.
Because the Pittsfield Cubs
the
were a
Cubs
thing.
were here in Double A.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, 87. In the Berkshires in 87, 88. I want to say 86, 87, 88. And I was here 2 of those 3 years. And so I tell the story stepping off so we got in late one night, flying in from mini camp or from spring training in Arizona. And we got here and I think Burger King was open. We stayed it was a Hilton at that time, and Burger King was open 24 hours. And so a couple of us, Mark Grace, me, Dwight Smith, Mark Grace, that's who it was. We walked over to Burger King, and I swear the ground felt different to me, like just being here, being in this part of the country.
What do you mean by that? The ground felt different to you?
It felt like there was some energy in it, and it's hard to describe.
No, I got you.
I felt something, and I was like, it made me think, man, this feels like I could get used to being here. And it was funny because we were talking to like, man, we got to get out of here. It's done. Like nobody wants to be there. This town stinks or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was here walking thinking, man, I don't know.
You're like, yeah, this sucks. You're like, actually, I really like it.
And look at fast forward 30 some years, I'm still here. So, I just thought it was a place that I might want to call home someday. And then it ended up being home.
Yeah.
You were in a band, reggae band?
Yeah, sure was.
So who'd you grow up listening to?
Led Zeppelin, Funkadelics, George Clinton. I mean, I had a wide range. I had older brothers and sisters who were, into the fusion jazz, Billy Cobham, and
It's so crazy how much your siblings influence what you your music.
Yeah, and so I grew up kind of like looking at their records and seeing their Wes Montgomery records and all this different stuff, and they were like flower children, if you will, from the 70s, and so unlike rock and all kinds of stuff, rock, soul, funk.
You were a musician as a child?
No, I kind of picked it up. I picked
what
it
instrument?
up. Picked up guitar and took some piano lessons when I was a kid. My mom thought I was going to play piano for the church, so she got me piano lessons. that didn't go so well. Like other things kind of took over, and I started missing my lessons and stuff.
Yeah. And you ended up in a band.
Yeah. So fast forward. So come into the Berkshires and when I left to go to college, I told myself I was going to learn how to play the guitar. So the day I went to Illinois State, I bought this acoustic guitar and just took it with me and played it every day. So that was college. And so I just kind of stuck with it. And when I retired, I remember watching a telethon here. They used to do the telethons here in Pittsfield.
Really?
Muscular, I think it was through PCTV or something.
Oh,
You see
okay.
telethons.
MDA, telethon?
Yeah. And I remember seeing like this reggae band. I was going through the channels where I was, here in Pittsfield. I was like, wow. I saw this this band come, on the channel. And I was like, wow, look at this dude. He's got feather in his hair. He's got a little wrap around him. I thought, this is cool. And I kept going through the channels. Ended up being in that band. That was Dread Eye. I used to be I and
that's
I
cool.
then. Yeah.
What was the name of the band?
They were I and I at that time.
I and I.
It turned into Dread Eye. Yeah.
Dread Eye.
Yeah. They were really popular. We
Yeah.
had a decent following. Like,
So you just reached out to
90s.
them and was like, "Hey, I want to join your band."
Yeah, ended up meeting the band, and they
That's
were
awesome.
like, "You should join the band."
That's cool. Well, obviously there was a good vibe right off the bat, right?
Real good vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They're
really
"You
like your band. You want to join?
I ended up meeting a couple of the guys in the band and actually worked with one of them and, started playing music on the side a little bit. And one day they were like, man, you should join the band. Come with us. We're going to Key West,
That must have been a time.
I was like, yeah.
How old were you? Like mid-30s?
Yeah, mid-30s.
Traveling down to Key West
myself,
with it. Yeah, listen, I get it. Trust me.
So they say playing the acoustic guitar is one of the hardest things to do.
Actually, it was pretty easy for me. Wait, which was harder?
Do you think that's
hitting a baseball or playing acoustic guitar?
Don't tell me
Acoustic
it's easy.
guitar
Come on.
when the action is that high. So I knew nothing
dude,
about
the
action,
worst.
right?
Yeah. Electric is like, wow, I can play this so easily.
Because
But
you have that much. So I had this acoustic, and I wonder why I
Awful.
could never
I know.
really play it. It was like that high off the fretboard. So
you must calluses
Yeah.
is a must on your fingers and stuff. But dude,
Yeah.
an acoustic guitar with bad action and
Yeah.
thick strings is
It's
awful.
it's hard to it deflates you. You end up not wanting to play.
You just twang and you're not. Yeah, I know.
Humbled you a little bit,
Then you
right?
grab an electric.
Yeah.
My buddy
Okay.
used to take the little bridge out
Yeah,
to lower the action.
yeah.
And,
I wish I would have known that
I wish I would have known that.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
So
pick up an electric. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, so
bunch of
much
guys
easier.
in a reggae band on the road,
Yes.
Key West.
Oh,
Must have been a
boy.
couple wild nights.
No, there's no wild nights.
Oh, stop
There's
it.
none of that nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe you for some reason.
No, it was a great experience. And again, some things were like going crazy in my life, or just
I do.
yeah. But it was a great experience. And again, I have so much respect for musicians who are on the road and who
Totally.
that's their life. You have to like really want it. If you're not dedicated to it, like being on the road is hard. It is hard.
Harder in music than baseball?
It can be. I would say it takes more of your whole being than baseball. With like sports and athletics, you can get away with the physical. If you're physically gifted to an extent, a lot of things get covered up. You can cover up a multitude of stuff just by being talented physically.
Right.
But like music, it takes your
soul's
mind,
gotta
your
be in it.
soul, your spirit. And if any of those things are weaker, then those could be the weak link that do you in a sense,
The Police have a reggae tone to them.
Yeah.
like, side. Like I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah, like
yeah,
Police.
yeah.
Yeah, they were huge.
I didn't know that the Police had a reggae. I mean, I believe you because you know far more about music than I
What's
do.
your favorite Police record? What's your favorite?
Walking on the Moon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's from is that from Zendaya
Mandara or whatever. Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good tune.
And
it's a
Don't Stand
cool
So
tune
Close
to
to Me is
play
another
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you still play
Yeah.
in a band, like with some friends, or just on your own?
I do. I play as I have this little thing I get together. It's Bryan in the House with friends.
Nice.
So it's like the rotation can change. So who's ever in the house is
That's
in
cool.
the house. Yeah.
Where do you guys play?
We just played in Housatonic for a Party in the Park thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And so I mean it happens every now and then, and I get a gig here and there. I'll be playing some music with Annie Guthrie in a couple
Nice.
weeks.
Very nice.
Doing some stuff.
You work with youth,
I do.
and that's very important to you.
Yeah, it is. I'm more of an administrator
Yeah.
now, so I mainly work with the teams themselves, our staff, but, got into the whole game working directly with young people and just, helping with job development, things like that.
What are the biggest challenges in 2025 for youth? And
Yeah. I mean, so many different things. I think isolation. I think sometimes young people can be sort of tricked into this ideal that they're with or amongst the community, but they're really like isolated to a large extent. And that's one of the challenges.
Meaning
if that
like
makes sense.
Meaning like they feel connected because they're connected on screens, but in reality they're not getting that real true human connection.
Right. And thank you. That's well said, Marjo. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Not surprised you're getting that.
Yeah. I think other challenges, I think a lot of the young people I see, a lot of them might be a little disenchanted with educational systems because they feel they're not really serving them. So that could be a challenge for young people. If that's not something you're naturally drawn to or you excel in, sort of that kind of format, life can be challenging because that's an indicator for other things, other successes in life, like So. I don't know. I think, and competition too. And I mean that, like, I think on some level, young people are dealing with this. How do they show up in the world today? And there's a lot of things competing for their attention on how to be in this world. And some of it, we might argue is not great, or it can. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm so eloquent around that, but I think like lifestyles, for example, like, kids want things quickly now, as opposed to putting in the work maybe.
Yeah.
And what
entitlement.
What does putting in the work mean? I think it means something different now than it did 40 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think we live in a much more right now society, and
Absolutely.
I think that's what
instant gratification.
Yeah.
We want things to happen overnight, and this kind of celebrity. And I'm just as guilty as an adult. This kind of celebrity obsessed culture, or this influencer culture. They see these people have the most opulent things, the best cars, the most, I feel like it creates like this lust for something that's just not real.
Yeah.
But it makes them think it's real because they're like, well, this is a 13-year-old kid just like me on the internet. Like,
and they think it's easy. Like, even though like this is episode 7 of this podcast, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
This is a lot of work. And this is a side hustle for us. We're on the radio, the two of us, in that medium. So, but this looks, slick. We got a good production guy, but it looks sort of easily attainable.
Right.
And I think that's where sort of the entitlement, well, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that looks like nothing. It's like, nah, there's work, there's dedication, there's planning, there's tenacity there. There's
becoming an influencer or a viral podcast or anything like that, it's essentially like becoming a professional athlete or becoming a movie star. Like there's hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people trying to do it. Yeah. And only, that 1% or whatever actually sees success with it.
And I think you guys bring up a good point. Like, a lot of times we don't see the work that goes into it, and so that gets lost in the idea of I want to be that. And you don't see what it entails.
They're left with the impression that it's sort of that it's attainable and easily attainable, I should say.
Are there certain things you see in this generation, youth right now that gives you hope? Like, are there, others? We always talk about so many negative things about the internet and social media and stuff like that. But these kids are also at an advantage to see things happening around the world that like we didn't have access to. So what gives you hope for the youth?
Yeah.
Which sounds like a really cliche, corny question. But I mean, that's what we want. Like, I feel like so often these kids get a negative, bad rap. Like, what's
right? What's
great about this generation?
I think I'll say this. I mean, they've inherited a lot of, I don't want to say bad stuff, but not great things from, say, generations like mine.
Sure. I always tell my parents that boomers ruined this country for us. So. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, so I'll take that. I mean, I would. It's not easy today. I mean, that's one thing, and I think part of it is like what is, again, success, and my definition doesn't have to be their definition. I guess that what gives me hope is like young people are creating their own definitions about what it means to be in this world, and like that's great. That's going to have to be it, because they're the next generation. They're carrying on this life as it is today. So I guess it just the fact that they're finding ways to be in this world and be whole gives me hope. Like the young people I work with, small victories mean a lot, you know, just seeing the small things, like a person graduating from a youth leadership summit, you know, that means a lot to me. Or when they say thank you for all the work you've done with them, you know?
Yeah.
So that, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, little things like that.
How old are these kids?
Oh, shoot. Anywhere from, say, 10 to 25. 26.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Yeah. So how did any of them struggle romantically? Like trying to find romantic relationships?
I would I would say yes. Yes. I would say yes.
Like more so than you did? Like your generation, my generation?
Well, he was a professional athlete. He was a stud. I'm sure they were, throwing themselves at you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm poking around at, though? Like sort of how people meet online.
Okay.
As opposed to a little bit more organically. Do you find that these girls lack the skills?
I don't know.
Like social skills, you're saying? I suppose that question could be applied romantically and friendship-wise too. Just building relationships, connecting with people, right?
Again, yeah, I think it's a sign of the times. I think again, young people don't. From what I said, he'll get mad at me, but I'm gonna call him out. My my son, he spends a lot of time in his room, you know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't you go out, and hang out? And he's starting to get out a little bit. He just graduated from high school.
Okay,
going to college,
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, I feel like
what does he give for an answer?
He's starting to get out more. I think kids. He's starting to get out more. Yeah. I think COVID did a number on a lot of kids. Did a number on all of us. Set us back a couple years.
That is definitely one thing I overlooked because I wasn't youth during COVID.
Yeah.
I had kids. So I wasn't there. And I can only imagine what it was like for
when we think of those formative years from our youth, high school, middle school, whatever it might be, they had a completely different reality and their worlds were, flipped upside down.
Right. So, and I always come back to that sometimes and go, oh yeah, like you were this age 4 or 5 years ago, that matters. So if you were 7 or 8 or 9, like at these juncture point, marker points in your life, something was delayed, something happened where you just didn't get something during that time.
I always wonder what it's like I always like asking 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds or whatever to 20, how they view America, how they view the political climate, how they view the internet. I mean, because it's all they've ever known is sort of, internet and its effect on humanity and people in this country. And, do they view their generation as accepting or sort of divisive or in terms of...
What do you hear as a response from young people? I'm curious.
A little bit of both, actually. Yeah. Especially when it comes to like LGBTQ plus issues or race. Or I'm interested to see how they.
That gives me hope. Is going back to that question? I think when I see young people, their approach to say inclusivity and accepting others, I get a lot of hope from the way I see. Young people kind of rally for each other. Yeah. It's kind of neat to see. Some of the lines that we've drawn that, I know my generation and beyond have drawn, they don't give it a whole lot of credence, and that's kind of refreshing to see. That's very refreshing to see.
Yeah.
I also often think that the youth is a mirror image of what's happening in society as a whole. So I think, there's different trends that you see happening, in the real world. I think also trends in a different way with the youth. Meaning, I think there is a certain amount of divisiveness because I think kids also are highly influenced by their parents or other adults in their lives.
I see that too.
The world of nonprofit. You've been working in nonprofits for a long time. What are the challenges right now in 2025 for nonprofits? You know, is it harder than it was 20 years ago? Is it easier than it was 20 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, funding, I think, is a challenge now, especially like currently in this current day and time, just how, nonprofits could have sort of a target on their back to some degree. With trying to access funding and just the way the federal government is sort of approaching support for, say, the middle class or underserved populations. That's really in question right now. So, I mean, challenges for nonprofits, I think, I'll say this: aging populations, it could be a challenge because you see, there's a need for like young people to get involved in their community, to volunteer, to do things like that, to be civically engaged. And I mean, if you don't have that pipeline coming through, that's a challenge for nonprofits who depend on that. So I see that now. I see a lot of people wearing a lot of hats.
My father has been he's been retired for almost 20 years now, probably, and volunteers for the Appalachian Trail and a bunch of different nonprofits, and they run into that constantly. Young people are often working two jobs, especially, locally. So they just 2 jobs, kids, they don't have a lot of time to be able to volunteer. It's your volunteers are essentially aging out.
And I feel it's so important for a community just to continue that. I don't know, like it's important for each one of us to kind of be a citizen in that sense, to volunteer some aspect of our time. And most of us do it in some way or another. It may not be as formal as other people, but it's so important to like the sustainability of communities, people just volunteering an hour of your time.
And thinking of yourself as part of a greater community. I mean, so many, and I get it. Slater, at the end of the day, his worry is, are my kids safe? Is my family safe? Do we have food on the table? You can get so insular in thinking about, I got to do what's best for me and my family, and that's the bottom line. I think sometimes we get lost. We stop thinking about the greater good. I mean, locally, nationally, whatever. What's best for the community, not just what's best for you. And really feeling like you are a member of a community, I think it's easier to want to put in that effort.
Sure is.
Yeah, I feel that way. Like youth sports is a great way to come together as a community. I love that. I love going to the games. I love, as much as I can say, oh, we're going to go to the game tonight. Like I kind of enjoy going down there and talking to the parents, and because this is your community. This is where we live. And we're a community just like everyone else in America. They've got their communities too, and that's important to be involved and
agreed,
and not stay in your room.
I see that as like a coach, and just the importance of parents helping out doing this little thing or
working the concession stand. There's so many. It really does take a village, right?
Exactly.
And just the guys doing the lines on the field and raking and mowing. Like my father did a lot of stuff, and I blew that stuff off. He's like, I'm on that busting my butt, raking the field.
Right, and he'd already put in his 40 hours in his shift at the Hibernian, and did the housework, and then put in his extra time on the weekends at the baseball field for sure.
How you staying so fit these days?
Little basketball. I play basketball as much as I can with these folks,
like a
adult league.
Nice.
An adult little group.
Cool.
I wouldn't call us a league. We just get together 2-3 times a week if we can.
Oh, that's great.
It's a lot of fun. Some good players too.
Any trash talk or?
Oh, a little bit. It gets testy here and there.
I love that.
It's a lot of fun though. Follow my son around, coaching, naturally keeps you there. Getting out, walking, run. I used to run. That was kind of like a nice meditative thing I would do. I got to get back into that.
I'm with you.
You seem calm. How do you remain calm?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're not very calm people, so
Yeah.
we're looking for advice.
You seem calm.
That's only because the mics are on, the cameras are on. We're very frantic. Otherwise.
No, you know, I'll tell you, I had the good fortune of spending a good amount of time at Kripalos Center.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
getting a taste of meditation, yoga, and having access to a lot of those things, and seeing the benefit of it, good food. All of that like was a big part of my life. Like after baseball, kind of some things that fell really nicely into, you know, a few years after I had just retired. And so, like seeing the benefit of really this connection of mind, body, spirit, I think is totally powerful. And and I hope to carry that with me. So I hope that's what I think that's what you might be seeing, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I've always been attracted, I think, to calm people because you know maybe that was a hole that I was trying to fill. You know,
Maybe. Or if you felt like you're.
I was always.
If we really want to deep dive and unpack this, maybe your childhood's chaotic. Things often felt chaotic as a kid, and you're seeking that out as an adult.
Child of alcoholic. I want to explore more of. You know, I myself, had issues with alcoholism for years in my 20s and 30s and stuff, and that's how I sort of coped with it. But I'm really drawn to, religion these days and Christ and sort of. I like ASMR. I love all of that stuff, and because it's sort of I like slow now. I don't like fast. I used to like fast. Now I like slow.
I get it. I dig it. I mean, like they say when you're in the flow, like things slow down. And so there's something to slow and like thoughtful deliberateness.
Yes.
So yeah. So yeah.
I like, if I had to choose fast or slow, what would you choose?
I don't know. I think I naturally gravitate towards the fast. I think slow is bad for me. I think too much free time and not enough.
Yeah.
But things also shift.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like you were when you were talking earlier about like kids' definition of success, like I just think in my mind how much success in my mind has changed. Like what I thought was the meaning of success at 21 versus 30, even now at 40. Like it's changed so many times because my outlook on life has changed so many times.
I totally agree. And I think for me, this whole introduction to yoga and meditation helped me to see like what the definition of life means, what success is. I mean, a lot of it's like all you have is your breath, like
I know, man.
Right.
Think about that one,
That's the constant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another cliche, money can't buy happiness. You're right. It can't. You know what I mean? That inner peace and that calm. Like Slater always tells me that. He's like, I always think people are just searching for calm. They just want some peace in their lives.
And balance could be a lot like fast, slow. I mean, martial arts too. I had nice little time with martial arts.
That's great.
Oh,
and
cool.
just that idea of like fast, slow, and there's a time and a place for all of that. When you say you do your forms, can you do them as fast as you can, and does it make sense, or can you slow it down as slow as you can and it makes sense and it still has the same power? So yeah.
Did you have to rewire your brain a little bit? I mean, I hate to go back to baseball because I know it doesn't define you, but I just don't know many people who played sports on a professional level. Did you have to kind of rewire your brain to get away from that competitive thinking? Or did you think, because you kind of referenced that maybe you didn't have that undying, like that burning desire to do absolutely anything to make it happen?
Yeah, I don't think I had to rewire anything. I think the way I've been rewiring is, in some sense, is to get to that spirit or sense that I didn't have, or understand how I need to be there when I need to be there. So I don't think I had to rewire anything. I think I was naturally like, I've never been the most, I need to be you, or I need to.
Which is interesting because I always think of professional athletes as just having to have that like killer competitive edge.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you found success
Yeah,
without being centered around that.
I feel like I did. I never felt like I had. It sort of came naturally to me, and a lot of it. And I think professional athletics kind of taught me that, that what you bring athletically to the table is part of it. So if you have the skill to be anywhere and to play, great. But there's these whole set of other things that you need, like that determination or that not taking no or not being denied. And so, I had much of that to a certain extent, but I think for the most part, I think it's why I'm drawn to music. I just love like harmony and like that sense of togetherness. And I was always, I never really was so competitive. I could hit, I could run, and I can throw. And our teams won. So I was like, that lit me up, you know?
How old are you now?
62.
You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I bet you're not on blood pressure medication.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I just knew that. You're just.
We're gonna have all our guests fill out a medical questionnaire from now on.
You're too calm and relaxed naturally. I just knew it. Actually, I'm on a very high dose.
Do you ever have a temper? Do you ever fly off the handle about things?
Well, ask your son.
To fly. Very seldom, very seldom.
Again, it's that
very
centered,
seldom.
It's that mind, body, spirit thing. I think that keeps people balanced, right?
Yeah, and
I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I do sometimes, and it's not a good place for me, and I realize it's not where I want to be. It's not where I should be, and so it's not a good feeling. So I don't go there often, and I don't want to be there.
I spent too many years sort of twisted inside internally, verklempt, insecure, judging other people, worrying about whether I was going to be judged. I don't want any part of that in my life. I'm not interested in talking shit about people, and if I do these days, it's a slip up, and then I sort of kind of say, listen,
it's kind of a lie. We definitely talk shit about people.
Maybe just
in like
just
a healthy, like gossipy,
I'm not interested, especially close friends. Like, I'm not interested in judging their lives. I don't care where they're like, come as you are, meet you where you are. Like, I'm all about that. Like, I mean, there's just no time for it. There's no need for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's trash. It's useless.
Yeah.
You're right.
But it also takes a while to get to that point.
It does. It's a work in progress for sure, man. Yeah, but I don't know.
We try.
Or I'm just depressed that I can't. I don't know which one it is.
Could be that too.
Yeah, it could be that too.
No, it's that journey we're all on.
Yeah,
you're on your journey.
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, I watch YouTube videos of near-death experiences. That's what I'm into now. Like, I love. The hope that it brings. I'm fascinated by other people's stories of that, And I'm middle-aged too, so like, maybe I'm halfway to 90, so.
I know.
Don't do that, because see, I told you I was 62 and I start counting back and I'm going, wait,
you're on the 14th
cool.
hole, dude.
Well, this is the thing is, again, I don't know how many cliches I can reference in this episode, but age is merely a number. We know 62-year-olds that are sedentary, that are not healthy, that are not active. Like, you've made decisions in your life to
I agree.
be able to still enjoy it 62 and hang with your kids and coach sports and play music and all that stuff.
Wow.
It's important.
And I see examples of that all the time, like seeing people who are in their 90s and 80s and who they didn't just get there, if you know what I mean. Luckily, it was a lifetime of like leading to that point,
Wow. It's
it's great chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to get to know you a little bit better. Bryan House.
Likewise.
I'm going to work on my mind, body, spirit connection.
Yeah? All right.
I like to try to take away something from each of the guests. That's what I'm going to take away today.
I'm glad I could hand that off or put that here with us.
Too.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Good
cool.
to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marjo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.